And welcome back to This and That. We're now joined by Chris Gentry with McMahan Law Firm, talking about tackling Social Security disability. We've talked about this before on the show here, but we talk about it often because it is sort of a burden for a lot of us, trying to handle this on your own. A lot of viewers that are out there watching right now, first off, welcome. Who is eligible for Social Security disability?
Well, Social Security disability, you start with the idea that you've got a severe medical problem that's keeping you from working. And then for what we call disability insurance benefits or disability, you actually have to have worked 5 of the last 10 years. And so in many ways, the money you get in a benefit is the money you earned and the money you paid into the system. Now, there are other people eligible. If you're poor, you could be eligible for something we call SSI. And if you happen to have drawn early retirement benefits at age 62, you could still potentially get a Social Security disability benefit because you took a penalty to draw it early. So that's another type of person that needs to be looking out for potentially applying for benefits.
Now, when it comes to benefits here, I know they sort of vary and they're a wide range here, but what's normally included in a benefit?
Typically, a successful Social Security disability award will result in back pay, which is accrued benefits while you're waiting to get approved for benefits, a monthly check that you get in the mail, and then also medical insurance. So it's a pretty life-changing type of benefit you can get.
And I think we've often talked about how difficult it is to be approved. Lots of times people are not approved their first go at it or second go at it, and there's appeal processes, so on and so forth. How difficult is it to be approved?
It's very difficult. And it sort of boggles the mind when you think of it being the money you paid in the first place.
Sure.
But the national average is that almost 70% of people are denied initially. You file an appeal of that, almost 90% of people are denied. And then you get to a hearing in front of an administrative law judge. That's when it gets good. And about 50% of people win.
And how long does that process take?
Well, it sort of depends on the mood of the Social Security Administration. I guess I could tell you the horror stories, which is that I've got some clients having to wait 2.5, 3 years to get their benefits started.
That's amazing here. Now, obviously, when it comes to trying to do this or do the appeal process, that's when it's really good to call in a lawyer, or possibly even before starting out the very first time. How does a lawyer help out?
Well, what we do at McMahan Law Firm is we help you from start to finish. We'll even have someone come out to your house, sign you up. We'll help you fill out your application. And then, of course, what we'll do is we'll make sure that administrative law judge and the Social Security Administration have all of your medical records in front of them to make a decision. I will personally write a memo on your behalf making legal arguments, and then I will go in front of the judge, represent you at the hearing, make my arguments there in person.
Now, I know you're paid very well to talk about how great McMahan Law Firm is, but obviously, too, people just want to know what are some things that we need to ask a lawyer or a law firm when looking for one. I mean, what should they ask you when they call you?
Well, you should ask to see me, first of all, I think. And that's one of the biggest sort of pitfalls people fall into when they go on the internet and they just find somebody and they say, I'm going to hire, X to be my Social Security lawyer. You need to find someone local. There are people from Utah, San Antonio, Texas, New York, Fort Lauderdale, Florida that advertise on the internet. People sign up with them, and I've cleaned up a lot of those messes personally in my lifetime. Lawyers didn't show up. Lawyers didn't get their medical records. You need someone local who knows these judges. I've appeared in front of them hundreds of times. And you need someone local who knows the doctors where you can get the medical evidence together. Always
some great information. I know it's always so difficult here, and I think probably one of the biggest questions is why is it so difficult too? Lots of times there's false claims that are always involved. I mean, is that one of the biggest reasons? Well, the biggest reason is a simple reason, is that the Social Security Trust Fund is going bankrupt. And so there are a lot of ways to solve that problem. And the easiest way is for them to say, we're going to start paying out more benefits, regardless of whether those claims are good claims or bad claims. The fraud in many cases is overstated and not accurate when you view the country as a whole. But that's the long story short. They're making it more difficult. And I just read something that said, right now approval ratings are at a 40-year low. Well, we've got some great information here, folks. If you are looking for someone to talk to about Social Security disability, call the folks there at McMahan Law Firm. They're located there on High Street in downtown Chattanooga. The phone number, 423-265-1100. You can ask for Chris himself. Again, 265-1100. You can also go to the website, which is McMahanLawFirm.com. It's a tough task to tackle. We appreciate you helping us out. I appreciate you. All right, folks.